Hey everybody, how's it going? Sean Allen here. I know I broadcasted a little earlier today on this channel, the Disneyland video series. This isn't really, Disney related, but I just found out about the sad news that Adam West, formerly known as Batman from the 1960s show, has passed away today. I'm of course shocked. I don't exactly know what he died of, but I can tell you this, I am deeply shocked by this. As some of you know, or maybe you don't know, he basically was Batman in the 1960s Batman TV show. He was well known for his role, as the character. He was also in Family Guy as Mayor Adam West. He appeared in other movies too, but he was well known for his role on television. He was 88 years old. I'm not exactly sure what he died of. I had the fortunate privilege of meeting him and Burt Ward and Julie Newmar on a number of different occasions. And it was really nice to be able to see him and everything. He now is in a line of different actors who are no longer around from the original TV series. Julie Newmar is still around, Burt Ward is still around, but pretty much the other members of the cast are gone. Alfred, Joker, Penguin, Riddler. Riddler died a few years ago, actually. He was played by comedian, hold on, what's his name? Gosh, I should know this by now, but sometimes I forget. But anyways, Frank Gorshin, that's his name. But yeah, I am deeply shocked. I actually have, where did I put it? I have a book that he signed that I got many years ago. It contains the very first Batman comic book from 1939, I think it is, or 38, 39, May 1939. He signed it there. He signed it on February 17th, 2007. And Burt Ward signed it as well. This is me with Julie Newmar. And Julie Newmar signed the book as well. I even have an action figure of Adam West as Batman right here. And some of you guys probably know about this. I actually had the opportunity to ride in the 1960s Batmobile. The old 1960s Batmobile. In Robin's seat, because I was wearing a Robin costume. I was at the George Barris Custom Cars Studios out in North Hollywood, and as they were putting all their other vehicles away, I was taking a couple pictures of myself with my dad at the car shop, and the fellow that worked at the shop was basically planning on taking it into the back. And I remember he opened the doors and it was like, back to the Batcave. And that was when he opened the door for me, because I was dressed as Robin. I got to sit in Burt Ward's seat. But, yeah, so I got to ride in the original Batmobile from the 1960s show. I also have the model of the helicopter, the Batcopter, the Batboat, and the Batcycle, which I've seen. But I'm just still in shock. Adam West was 88 years old, so he wasn't really a youngster, but I'm not really sure what he's exactly died of, and I don't think I really want to know, but it is sad to see him go. He is an icon in the superhero industry. He is along a long list. He's in a long list of actors who have portrayed Batman. If you guys don't know, he wasn't the first Batman actually to be on screen. There was actually two other Batmen before he got onto the screen in 1960. And when I say the big screen, there was actually a series in 1942 and then 1949 that was like it was like a TV series, but since they didn't have television back then, they had the series in theaters where they would show one episode. You have to come back either the next day or the next week to see the next episode. And I actually have those series right over here. The first one is just called Batman. It was filmed in it was 43. Did I say 42 or 41? I think I said 43. And this is the first one right here. And the first one to play Batman was Lewis Wilson. And this was from 1943. It's a relatively okay season. It was a little racist here and there, but we were in the war, World War II to be precise. Then in 1949, he didn't portray Batman again. It was taken over by Robert Lowry. And he never made an appearance in this other series. But yes, these are a series of videos or films that were shown in theaters before television. So basically, this is like a television series for the movies. And I'm not exactly sure how many. There's 15 and 15. So basically 15 episodes. So it's 30 episodes. That's like 2 seasons. And they were both by Columbia Pictures. So I believe Batman was by 20th Century. And then Warner Brothers took over. Batman meaning the 1960s when Adam West was in. And then Warner Brothers took over. That was when Michael Keaton got involved. And then Val Kilmer. Then George Clooney. And then after Clooney, we had the really depressing time of having to figure out what's going to happen with Batman. Then Christian Bale came into the scene and really just changed Batman's story altogether, not just as a character, but just his physical nature and the way he talked and everything. And then Ben Affleck came over and, basically started off his own version of Batman in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and pretty soon Justice League. So I think it's still pretty cool. I'm talking about the live action films of Batman. I'm not referring to the animated features, but Adam West, in my mind, is still the best Batman. Even though a lot of people say Michael Keaton was good, it was really Adam West that really took the character to a level where, yes, I mean, when you look at the comics, it was on a very serious note. Like, the first several issues, it was taken at a very serious note. However, when Robin came along, it kind of went into a little more comedic level, which kind of fit Batman for the 60s. And then as time went along, it started getting more dark again. Batman actually started off in Detective Comics, which is still around to this day. It's just called Batman Detective Comics. I actually got issues 955 and 54 recently. It's amazing that series is still around, but they still have Detective Comics. Honest to God. But in the first issue of Detective Comics, issue number, I think it's issue 27, May 1939, that's when Batman first debuted. He didn't have his own comic series just yet, but he was basically starting off as a new character for Detective Comics. As time went along, after that first issue, issue 27, the sales for Detective Comics kind of went up and down, and the reason why is because on some of the issues, he wasn't featured on the cover, so those issues weren't purchased. But when he was on the cover, then people were like, oh, he's in the cover, that means he's in it. When really he was in all the other comics afterwards, once he made his debut. So the writers and the artists were like, you know what, if he shows up on the cover of our issue, then our sales going to skyrocket, because obviously we got a big hit with Batman. So that's what they did. They basically created each issue from there on in with Batman on it, which is pretty cool. But the Batman that Adam West portrayed was a very, very comedic one. And, you know, his TV series, it was by far, I mean, it was just unbelievable, the cast that he had for his series. I'm just going to name a few of the... I'm just going to name a few of the actors that were on his show, because there are a lot of big names in the show. It ran from 1966 to 1968. It only ran for 3 seasons, but during those years, they had many great actors in it. Gonna make sure I get this right. So Adam West, obviously Adam West Batman, Burt Ward Robin, Alan Napier Alfred, Neil Hamilton as Commissioner Gordon, Stafford Rep as Chief O'Hara, Madge Blake as Mrs. Cooper. Yvonne Craig was Batgirl. She actually passed away recently too. And then we get into the villains, and the villains were played by really well-known actors. Cesar Romero as the Joker, Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, Julie Newmar as Catwoman. Of course, Catwoman was played by 3 different actresses. Catwoman was Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, and I forget what the other one his name is, but I'll get to it. Let's see. Byron Keith, Mayor Linseed, Frank Gorshin, the Riddler, Victor Buono, King Tut, David Lewis, Warden Crichton, Vincent Price, well-known actor, he played Egghead, Annie Baxter, Olga, not Olga K, somebody else named Olga, Carolyn Jones, some of you may know her from The Addams Family, she played Marcia, Queen of Diamonds. I had to make sure I was saying that correctly. Yeah, that was her. Cliff Robertson, Shame. Eartha Kitt. There we go. Louis the Lilac, Milton Berle. David Wayne, the Mad Hatter. Don Redberry, Tarantula. There's one in here that I'm trying to find that I know that... Oh, what's his name? There was one actor that was played by... hold on. I'm going to try to see if I can find the guy's name, because I know for a fact it's right here somewhere. Let's see here. I'm looking for it because I need to figure out who is Van Johnson. Yeah, that's him. That's what I'm thinking of. Van Johnson. He played the Piper Hamlin. And Piper, what? Did I say that wrong? Hamlin, sorry. And he also played a musician in Batman 2. So there were a lot of big names in the TV show, whether people realize it or not. So, yeah, I couldn't believe that some of the names in here appeared. And there was actually a Mr. Freeze in there a couple of times. One was played by a different... I think they had 2 different versions of Mr. Freeze in that show. One didn't have the suit, and then the other one had the suit. And it's funny because when they brought the TV series to comic form recently for DC Comics, they not only had the original characters from the TV show, they were basically coming up with different stories from the TV show, kind of like where they left off for the TV show. They also added in characters that were added later on to Batman, like Killer Croc, Harley Quinn with Joker. They also added Hugo Strange and Poison Ivy. And sometimes I wonder if that was a good idea. Right now, they actually finished up a series where he meets Wonder Woman from '77. And in my opinion, I'm like, how is he going to meet Wonder Woman? Because Wonder Woman's from 77. I actually have the first issue, the variant cover, right here on my display. Whoops, there goes Harley Quinn. This is the first issue right here, which I thought would never happen, but it did. Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77. If you guys know Wonder Woman, she's not really supposed to age, so it would make sense, because she's an Amazonian. And, so she really doesn't age, so it doesn't matter if she's from 1977. She could look the same way in 66. So, yeah. Really, if anything, if we had a team up where it was Adam West of 66 and Wonder Woman of today, it would look probably something like this. So, you guys saw my action figure of Batman Adam West. Right there. And here is Wonder Woman of today. Yeah. That would look pretty strange, I'd say. But, you know, they still made the series of comics. They also had another two... Actually, how many do they have? They had Men. They had... Oh, goodness gracious. I'm trying to remember what the series were. Well, one of them was where he meets the Green Arrow and Kato, the original, which they actually did in the TV series. They actually had a crossover where they had the actors from Green Arrow, excuse me, not Green Arrow, Green Hornet, and they met up with Batman in his series. There was also the Man from U.N.C.L.E., which never really happened in the TV show, but they did it as a comic series. And then there was another one that I don't think was as popular, but I can't remember what it was. So, first one was Batman 66 meets the Green Hornet and Kato. It was just Green Hornet. I keep wanting to say Green Arrow for some reason, but it's Green Hornet. Then the next one was the Man from U.N.C.L.E. And then there was another one that they had that I don't think was as popular. I don't think I had the whole series. And then they came up with Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77, which is pretty cool, because Wonder Woman 77 is actually a real comic series out right now, and there's actually a crossover series where Wonder Woman 77 meets the Bionic Woman. I don't know, that's weird. Anyways, so yeah. Good things and somewhat weird things with the Batman 66 series. But really, this video is about Adam West. I had the privilege of meeting him, like I said, on a couple occasions, and seeing him on the big screen, and I enjoyed... I'm so glad that they actually made a cartoon sequel to the animated, to the live-action movie back from '66. You guys don't know, they made a new cartoon. It was called The Caped Crusader's Return, and it's supposed to be a sequel to the '66 live-action film. If there were any plans of having them return again, it's not going to happen now, unfortunately. But while he was alive, they were able to record a sequel to the original '66 film, which I thought was fun. And they did things in that movie that they probably couldn't do in the live-action version, but it was a lot of fun. And I also have seen the documentary of how the story involved them with Batman and the whole studio situation, and that was really interesting. I think it was called Return to the Batcave, and it featured not just Adam West of Burt Ward, but it also had Lee Merriweather, Julie Newmar, and Frank Gorshin, because technically they were the only ones alive that were from the TV series. And they even had the original Batman, like, test Batman from when they were testing out the actors of who was going to play him. And, let me just make sure I'm seeing. And for Batman, for the live-action series, it wasn't going to be Adam West. It was actually going to be somebody else that they were screen testing. And that other actor was going to be William Dozier, and his was the one that helped create it. But can't. I can't. I honestly can't remember what the guy's name was. I'm trying to look it up very quickly before I forget. It's interesting. The Batcave set was built on the exact spot where Skull Island Gate was located in the original King Kong 1933 movie. This was pointed out by a visitor to the set who served as a technician on Kong. How about that? Yeah, wow. Anyways, you guys, yeah. Sorry this video is a little long, but you know what? I just had to do this because it was necessary. So, I know this is very sad news, but hey, you know what? We found something to talk about, and it is very sad to see Adam West go. Let's just remember the good times that we had with this actor and the good things that he shared on screen, both on and off screen. Very talented guy, very funny guy. So yeah, thank you, Adam West, for everything, and rest in peace. We'll never forget you, man. All right, guys. See ya.